Very quickly before you watch this, I understand I did have a good few of you in the live stream this afternoon. Around 200 live viewers were there. We were having fun when suddenly the Wi-Fi dipped and the signal just crashed altogether. We are still having some teething issues with the new PC. I'm hoping that will be all ironed out by next week. So apologies if you were in the stream earlier and you were booted out. I'm now uploading that stream plus some extra content on the end that we never got to cover. And hopefully it'll all be fixed soon. But thank you for your patience. Here's a video. And if you weren't in the stream earlier, then a wee bit of bonus content for you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a wee surprise live stream for your Saturday afternoon. And there's a bit of reason behind the live stream this afternoon. Number one, we haven't even got to talk about the game tomorrow against Dundee. We've not previewed it in any way. Of course, normally by this point, we'd have an episode of the Celtic the Thunder out. We would preview the game on that. Sadly, that's not the case because we're not in the studio until next week. Otherwise, I would do a normal match preview, which I didn't get the chance to record because we had the big story that came out yesterday surrounding the boycotting of merchandise and other Celtic revenue-related things outside of match tickets, so we had to dedicate a video to that. And also because, and I'm going to make this clear right now for anybody who might be looking for it tomorrow, I'm just going to say it straight from the off and straight here. Some people already know, but I'm just going to reiterate it. We have no match reaction on the channel tomorrow. Following the game, the conclusion of the game at Dens Park, there will not be a match reaction. The reason being, I'm watching the game, I'll get to see the game, I will enjoy the game, I will tweet my thoughts of the game. And on the channel on Monday, I will give you my reaction to the game. However, tomorrow I'm going to be in London. I'm going to see the Jacksonville Jaguars and the LA Rams play at Wembley Stadium, the NFL. So I'll be into Wembley at 2:30 to go and watch that game. So there won't be a match reaction, sadly. But we will try and cover the game as quickly as possible. So I'm just getting that done and out the way right now. For people who might be wondering this time tomorrow where the match reaction is, it won't be there. That's it, plain and simple. So let's get started with the stream, shall we? Let's talk about things. Thank you to Alan, by the way, for being a member for 13 months. Good to see you, Alan, brother. How are you? We'll get to your questions and answers as well as we always do in the live streams. But let's start with talking about tomorrow's game. I'm going to go through my starting 11 predictions, my reasoning for my starting 11 predictions. We're going to talk about the fitness and injury update heading into that game as well. You've probably all seen Brendan Rodgers' press conference by now. But of course, we visit Dens Park for the first time this season to take on Big Elvis Presley. Dundee not having a great time of it. Eight games played, only one win to their name. They sit 11th out of 12 in the Scottish Premiership table. However, they're only 2 points behind Rangers, so really, it's not that bad. Dundee, yep, not been great. I think it's going as expected for Stephen Presley and his side. I mean, when Stephen Presley was first appointed, I think we all kind of laughed at it. And I did say, look, listen, never count anybody out. He could do a good job, and he kind of got off to a wee kind of bright spark. He's getting spoke very highly of by the Dundee players, but I think it's going and it's kind of developing the way that we all expected. And it's one of those places, yeah, it's tricky to go sometimes. I remember last season when they had Tony Dock in charge, I actually kind of felt a wee bit nervous going to Dens Park, but you know, you should be winning with relative ease, and that isn't me trying to be disrespectful to the opposition. That isn't me trying to put down the chances of Dundee getting some form of result tomorrow. I just think that Celtic should be winning, and I think more importantly, and the way that I've titled this stream is one of the most important things to remember. Celtic now have a chance to restart their season, I should say, almost. We have a chance to go out there and right the wrongs of the opening 7 games. Now, I know some people might go, what wrongs? 5 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses. We're unbeaten in the first 7. We're unlucky to be second, you could say. Hearts have had a great start, and that's the only reason we sit second. But it's the football we've played. 11 goals scored in 7 games played. It hasn't been good enough from Celtic. We have been drawing 0-0 for long periods of the game. We've been sloppy for huge spells of possessions in the game. And attacking wise, we've not been great. We've only conceded 3 goals. 2 of them coming against Motherwell in the last game, in fact. So up until match day 7, we'd only conceded 1 goal. Defensively, we have been fine. But going forward, we haven't been good enough. We haven't been creative enough. It's been the exact opposite of entertainment. There's been no value for money in terms of watching Celtic, paying for your matchday ticket and going to watch Celtic play. And tomorrow is the chance to kind of bring back that entertainment value of Celtic, that aspect of enjoying the team actually watching, playing football. And Brendan Rodgers has spoke very openly about that. Now, of course, he said that he looks at this as a very exciting period coming up for Celtic, and he wants that excitement to be there and watching the team. And I'm hoping that is something that we can revive as a unit, both the players on the pitch and the manager working together to bring back that entertainment, that excitement that Brendan Rodgers speaks about very, very openly. I think he knows himself it's not been good enough. He can't keep getting through games like this. And of course, this stretch of 7 games, and more importantly, I think you could say, this stretch of 7 games that is coming up for Celtic is a huge 7 games. It's a massive 7 games. It starts with Dundee tomorrow at Dens Park, which is, of course, difficult in itself. But then you've got Sturm Graz through the week in a must-win European home game. You don't win that, I think most fans won't be fancying their chances of seeing the next round, the playoff round. I think that's got to be the narrative that would leave that game. So that's a huge game. You're then going to Tynecastle to play Hearts, the team who are top of the table and probably are title contenders or challengers this year. And then you're going forward a week there, and you're playing Rangers in the League Cup semi-final. So it's a huge 7 games. That's only a couple of the games I've mentioned there, 3 or 4 of the games. The other ones are just as big, just as difficult, just as important and significant. But yeah, we need to improve, and tomorrow it needs to be the start for that. I've constantly called it, and I will continue to call it the jump start to Celtic season. They need to get the leads out, they need to plug them onto the batteries, and they need to give it the biggest jump start we've seen in recent times. It is a chance to refresh our season. We've got players coming back. We've also got players who'll be missing, but we've got players coming back. We need to see us play back to our best football. And I think one of the most important things, before I get to my starting 11 prediction, Brendan Rodgers needs to figure out what his best 11 is between here and January. Because it's all well and good saying that in January we'll go and we'll right the wrongs of the summer window and we'll go and make signings, we'll go bring in players that will actually help us improve as a team. But I think more importantly is between now and January, with so many big games, with a cup on the line, with European qualification on the line, I think it's so important that Brendan Rodgers manages to find his best 11. We need consistency. There's been so much chopping and changing. We've got players playing on the left wing. The next week they're playing on the right wing. We've got players playing up front and then they're getting moved. We need to find our best 11. We need to find systematic changes that will actually work moving forward. And I think that's one of the big things about this portion of the season before the next international break. So it's a huge game for Celtic tomorrow. I see all the comments coming in. I see all the questions. We will get to you, don't worry. Very quickly, Dundee, of course, poor form. Going into the game with a squad that is looking as expected. A couple of fitness issues for them, but I think we're here mostly to talk about Celtic. Everything's looking good, or just the same, apart from the fact that Paulo Bernardo has now been ruled out for the game against Dundee tomorrow. Brendan Rodgers is expecting to have most of his first team, or the rest of his first team players available, even Alistair Johnston for selection. But Paulo Bernardo is out. His exact words, Brendan Rodgers' exact words on Paulo Bernardo is that Paulo has been ill. We'll see how he recovers in the next... Well, he might not be out. He might be okay, but he's been ill. We'll see how he recovers in the next 24 hours. Apart from that, everyone's okay. So, Paulo Bernardo out for it. Listen, let's be brutally honest about Paulo Bernardo for a minute, right? Sorry, I wanted a sip of tea there. Let's be perfectly honest about Paulo Bernardo for a brief moment. I like the guy. I like the guy a lot, and I think that he is a great player. I think he's got huge amounts of talent, and when he's given consistent chances, I think we'll see that again. But when you do give him a chance and you put Paulo Bernardo, and this is, some people might not hear this because I know there's a lot of Paulo Bernardo backers. He didn't take the opportunity he was given last time out. He was pretty poor. It wasn't great. And those are the kind of things that will stop him from getting more chances in the team. But he's out. He could be out tomorrow, as Brendan Rodgers says. We'll see how he goes in the next 24 hours. Apart from that, everyone's okay. And the thought of Alistair Johnston being back is just absolutely sublime. I want to see Alistair Johnston so badly. I really do. I miss him. What's in the mug? It's tea. It's tea. It's a cup of tea. Just normal, good old tea. There you go. Right, so let's talk about my starting 11 prediction then. I'll get it up on screen for you now. This is what I'm going with in terms of my starting 11 for tomorrow. Now I know I've just seen, for example, Nathan coming in saying Donovan start tomorrow. I want it. I just have this feeling Ralston's going to start. I think Ralston's going to start tomorrow. I just see it. So this is my starting 11 prediction. I'll run through it very quickly. Kasper Schmeichel in goals. I don't think he's going to lose his place in the team, despite obviously a bit of a ropey start to the season. A back four of Tony Ralston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Kieran Tierney. I don't see Tierney dropping out for Sriracha or anything. I think especially ahead of Wednesday, there'll be a priority of getting minutes. I hate, we need to stop this whole getting minutes in the legs. He should have enough minutes in his legs by now, but I think, you know what I'm saying, I think he'll want to have him fresh in the terms of match fitness for Wednesday. Maybe fresh isn't the words. And there you go, Donovan played 180 minutes of football this week. That's another reason why I think Ralston will start. Benji Nygren, Callum McGregor and Rio Hatate, I've went for that for the midfield three. I think that the midfield three is a very difficult one to predict, and that's why, listen, these team predictions are, you know, I think you've got to take them with a pinch of salt. First of all, I don't think that these starting 11 players that can come in and out at the drop of a hat. I mean, I say a squad full of talent. We know there is talent, whether they show it or not is a different story. I've just gone with that three because I can see Brendan trying to maybe come off the back of this international break and just going in with his best team. And I think this is what he sees as his best team. Now, we might not all agree with that. We might think that other people... I mean, personally, I think that Luke McCowan should probably start tomorrow, and I think he could. But I think this is just what Brendan will go with. Once again, it's a prediction. I can't read the manager's mind. It's not all that deep. And then for the front three, I've gone... And this is where I've went with an interesting front three. So I've went with Maeda, Haiheanacho and Balak Wisha. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, what about Tenekte? Just because of he's fine. He is fine. He ended up playing some minutes for Tunisia, I believe, after the initial reports of him going down with an injury. He's fine, he'll be okay, he's training, he'll be available for selection tomorrow. Everything's okay with Sebastian Tenekte. But just because of that, I think he might give Balak-Wisha a start. Plus, I think that Balak-Wisha... Oh God, Maeda, I forgot about the Maeda injury situation. Oh, well, Rodgers said yesterday that everyone's fine. So, listen, his exact words were, Paulo Bernardo's been ill. We'll see how he recovers in the next 24 hours. Apart from that, everyone's okay. So, to my understanding, that means Daisen Maeda is okay. Does it mean Maeda starts, though? Different question. I have put him in there just now. Whether he starts or not is a different story. That's what I'm going for my team. If Maeda isn't there, I could see him maybe trying Balak-Wisha out on the right and putting Tenekte on the left. He might even just start Yang. Once again, it's got to be... We can't be shoehorning Balak-Wisha onto the right hand side. We can't be shoehorning Tenekte onto the right hand side. It doesn't do them any favours. Sadly, the only options that we have behind Daisen Maeda right now is Yang and James Forrest. So effectively what I'm saying is right now I think it's a very difficult team to predict outside of the defence. I just don't think that systematically we've found what works yet. I think we're still trying to learn a lot about the newer players as well. This stretch of 7 games that's coming up is going to be very important in trying to determine what the best team we have is and what the best variation of the system is. Whether that's Nygren playing in a certain role, whether that's somebody playing on the left, somebody on the right. I think this is the 7 games where we hopefully find that out, but we need to find it out sooner rather than later. I did make the point before I cut off in the live stream that you go back to this time last year and naming the starting 11 or the best starting 11 was really, really easy. I think everybody was unanimous. I mean, I can still name it right now in terms of, you know, it was Schmeichel, Johnston, Vickers, Scales, Taylor, McGregor, Hatate, Engels, Kuhn, Kyogo, Maeda. We all knew that was pretty much the best 11. And even if you disagreed with a couple, whether that was Scales or Engels, we were all generally in the same ballpark. Whereas now, I think no matter what, if you talk to Celtic fans, they're all going to give you different 11s. They're all going to give you 11s that have very different midfields, that have very different attackers. Some people will have McCowan in there. Some people will have Nygren in there. Some people won't even have Nygren on their bench. I don't think there is a unanimous best Celtic 11 amongst the support right now. And I think Brendan Rodgers knows that he doesn't even have what he would call a unanimous best 11 as well. So, yeah, it's a very different time we're in. But put it this way, no matter what 11 goes to Dens Park tomorrow, we should be winning the game. It's all about creating chances. It's all about looking good on the eye. And it's all about just bringing back a sort of confidence in this Celtic team. Listen, that game against Motherwell was tricky and we left it late. But there was definitely glimpses of the Celtic that we were last year in that game, and especially when we scored the last gasp winner. So we need more of that tomorrow. It should be a must. Well, sorry, it should be a win. It is a must win. And hopefully by the time I do get to reacting to it, it's for the right reasons. So just to finish off, we do have another update on the situation with Bobby Clark, and this time it comes from the manager himself. I think we've all been left a bit confused with this whole Bobby Clark saga. It did come out of nowhere, and it seems now Brendan Rodgers has clarified why it's came out of nowhere, because even he doesn't have a clue where it's came from. So Brendan Rodgers did talk about it, and his exact words were, he doesn't have a clue. He doesn't have a clue where it's came from. He said to Sky Sports, it's one that's came from a long way out. I wouldn't normally say anything, but I really don't know where this one has come from, especially in October. So this one even baffles Brendan Rodgers. I think that's Brendan essentially confirming as well that, and we all know this is hardly like a shock horror. But, you know, when he gets asked about a player who's been heavily linked with the club, and he always gives it the, oh, I don't know, I don't handle it. And then, you know, a week later, they've miraculously signed for the club. I think he's confirmed that that's his approach, but I think you can even tell just with the way he says it and the way his facial expressions look during this part of the interview as well, that this one is just complete nonsense. God knows where the original writer got his exclusive from, but it looks like nothing. Brendan Rodgers has confirmed it's nothing, and it seems like, I don't want to put words in Brendan's mouth, because I do truly believe they'll be doing some level of scouting right now to try and get ahead of the January transfer window opening. But the fact that he's used that line of especially in October, I hope that's more of a, we've not initiated anything yet, rather than the we're not preparing. You know, I really hope so. But anyway, no Bobby Clark. A lot of nonsense. God knows why it was ever wrote in the first place. Right, that does it for today. If you've enjoyed, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. Once again, sorry to everybody who was watching the live stream earlier before it cut off. I will try and get that sorted so we can get back to doing our regular live streams. But until then, probably hold off on them. And I'll do a couple of test streams to see if things are working. But yeah, take care of yourselves. God bless. I'll see you all next time.